Standard high school with reading and writing, you would get ninth through 12th grade English classes that ninth grade's typically focused on grammar, punctuation, sentence structure, like hammering out those basic rules. 10th, 11th grade, you get more into the literary aspect of it. Here, every expedition cycle, I tend to offer at least one writing-based expedition and then at least one reading-based expedition. So with the writing-based expeditions, I'll typically oscillate between creative writing, where the student can write their own novel, write poetry, write a play that they've always wanted to do. So some of our students already have an idea for, I want to write a high fantasy book that's about fairies and dragons, and they already know what they want to do. For the students who don't, I'm doing expeditions like the D&D expedition that I'm doing this cycle and that I'm going to be offering next cycle, where it's creative writing centered around the character that they're building for the game. And so they'll be approaching creative writing through the lens of their character. So how do you think your character would respond in this situation? Or what was your character feeling when they were put in that situation? On the other end of the spectrum, we have what I label as academic writing, which is writing the typical paper that you would see in a standard English class. This is also more research focused on teaching the students how to identify good sources, what qualifies as a good source, what qualifies as a reliable source. And then I also offer what I label technical writing, which is focused on grammar, sentence structure, punctuation, and then also focused on student revision, like examining the structure of their writing and looking at the feedback that either myself or the writing guide offers, and then making those corrections. Not everybody likes to read Shakespeare. Not everybody wants to read To Kill a Mockingbird, but you might be interested in The Brothers Lionheart. I like to choose popular literature as well as, I'm not regulated to state mandate literature. We can do anything from Harry Potter to the Epic of Gilgamesh. It's all fair game. And I try to offer as a diverse selection as possible to make sure I hit all the potential different interest areas of students. So they're not shoehorned into reading a book that they don't want to or that they don't like. One of the big advantages is I get to focus on larger soft skills that are present across disciplines that may be hampered in a traditional classroom setting. So in the standard history classes that I'm used to teaching, we might read a couple of passages from the Epic of Gilgamesh, but we get to spend maybe an hour on it. And it deserves way more than an hour, right? So that's the benefit, is we get to spend more time like you would in a literature class, unpacking all the different chapters and character development and stuff like that. On a super practical level, our expeditions are set up like college classes in that regard. We meet 2 days a week. The student has their schedule, and one of the practical skills they get from here is time management, learning how to balance their workload between their STEM classes, their humanities classes, their individual project. The other is my approach I use across the board. I use it whether I'm teaching high school or college, and that's a more student-centered approach. I don't want to talk about what I learned from the book. I want to hear what you learned, and I want us to dig into that together. And because of the structure of our classes and because of the class size, we're able to do that.